Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, and this is the EVE Universe Show's continued coverage of the CSM 16 election with our interviews, this time with Micromancer. How you doing, Micro?
I am doing great.
Is Micro a satisfactory shorthand?
I would not say so, no. Micromancer is actually a handle that I've been using on the internet since 1991, I believe. When I built my first computer, I was the microcomputer necromancer. If your computer was dead, I could raise it from the dead. And so that's how that name came about.
Well then, Micromancer, I will try to stumble my way through your name as many times as I need to today. But
call me Micro.
Oh, okay. So that is got it. So without further ado, though, let's jump into it by explaining the rules. I get 50 minutes to explore the candidacy with the candidate. I have their post from the forums in front of me, and I disclose anything I know about them ahead of time, which even though I tried to watch your CSM candidacy video on CCP, I managed to miss it. So I am aware that you are infamous, but I know very little details about you. I look forward to learning more. But after my 50 minutes, I give you a 10-minute warning, so that way you get an opportunity to go over anything that you may feel I've missed, or a point that you want to maybe circle back on to highlight, or some sort of final pitch. When we're both satisfied, we wrap it up. It gets sent over to YouTube, where people can watch it along with all of the others, so that way they can make an informed decision, because that is what this is all about, having an informed electorate so that we can have the best CSM possible, because that is one of our best tools for feedback and communication to CCP. So with all that being said, Micromancer, what is this your first time running for CSM?
Yes, it is.
But you are pretty old in the tooth when it comes to EVE Online.
Sort of. I was aware of the game when it came out in beta in 2003 or so, but I didn't actually install until 2018.
Oh, okay. So you're actually fairly a fresh blood. Okay, well, what changed from 2004 to 2018?
In 2018, I got a Facebook ad for solo PvE. I've always been bad at PvP in whatever game it is, to the point where I've never played a Halo. I've never played any of those, because I'm the guy that's always respawning, bringing the team down. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for them. And so I always avoided that kind of player versus player conflict. It's just not something I am good at. So I watched from the sidelines, because I was a member of Something Awful. And so when the goons actually migrated over to EVE when it first started, and then in 2006 really got a foothold, all of the stories that came out of EVE at that time, I was watching. I was not there, but I was there. But I knew that I wasn't going to pay for a game where I was going to just be dead all the time and losing assets. So when I got that ad, I was like, all right, I'll install it. And it took me 30 days of hanging out in HiSec before I went ahead and just joined Kuhn's proper and moved to Delph. My thing is, my previous reputation means that I am always going to be a goon. I can't just say, you guys have been great, but I want to experience some other cultures, and I'm going to go hang out with Tess for a while, because they're going to look me up and they're going to say, oh, this guy is a goon, and they're going to kick me. There's just no way I could have any kind of meaningful relationship with any community without having to say, I've been a goon for 20 years.
Well, so, and that is actually an interesting point, which is that the Imperium of today is not the Imperium, it's not the Goon Swarm or Clusterfuck Coalition of old, right?
That is correct. Right. And in fact, in 2018, when I came here, I was ready to kick down sandcastles. I was ready to ruin everybody's game. And you walk in the door, and that's just not what's happening here. We're all just hanging out. The War of 2018 had only been going on for a couple of months. We were probably 2 months out of X-47, and I'm running around in frigates. So X-47 was my first big battle. That was the battle for me that said, I am all in on this game. All of the stuff that was going on was amazing. I found out that I didn't have to be good at PvP. I could just hang out with other people that were good at the game. And it was the social connections that I made in the game that really cemented the fact that I'm going to be here for life. This is an amazing community.
Right. So, but at the same time, though, you're saying that you come from the Something Awful forums. You're a fan of this stuff. You come that would imply that you kind of come from the old school nature. Were you are you disappointed in how soft they become? Are you a true goon?
Well, that's actually funny you say that. Yes, I am the truest of goons, except that there has been several cultural revolutions, not just in Eve, but also with Something Awful. I live in 2021. I am not the guy that does offensive humor to be funny, and we have, as a community, grown to an adult. I mean, we're not here to just throw our lives in people's faces and say, if you can't handle it, fuck you. We're here because we support each other, and we are good people, all around good people. So no, I am not disappointed at all. I am thankful that we have actually been able to grow as human beings, provide care and social support for each other. And when we do find people that are still living in the past, we get rid of them. It's just not acceptable.
But are you not trying to ruin the game, but trying to ruin my game?
Absolutely not. That's not only not the focus of the Goonswarm Federation itself, but it's not where my head is at, and it's certainly not where Karma Fleet, which is where I reside now. It's not their point of view as well.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you you clarifying that for me, because I think that that's an important thing for people to get across, because, especially people that are not in the Imperium, they only know very simple things. They may have heard things from before or understand things, or maybe they hear that you come from back in the day and therefore associate you with that bad behavior. So I think it was worth exploring and digging into. I appreciate that. Um, but so that does bring up an interesting point. You're in Karma Fleet. I've talked to a couple other people from the Imperium before. Like, what is causing you people to be in Karma Fleet? Why are there so many people running for the CSM from Karma Fleet and not from like elsewhere within the Imperium? Is it like it? It comes across almost as sketchy on the surface. So help me
I
understand.
appreciate that. So what you do is you look at the corporation. You say, why are there so many people that feel they're qualified for this job? And the reason for that is Karma Fleet grooms its members to be good people, grooms its members to be good pilots, grooms its members to support other people in the game. The entire atmosphere in the corporation is one of a cohesive nature where we are nurtured by caring people. And the reason other corporations don't have as many candidates as we do is they just don't do it as well as we do. We are a family, so to speak, and we teach each other and help each other grow.
That's a great answer. That being said, there are 6, I think, Imperium members, plus others depending on how you count the numbers, all running for the CSM. I assume that you don't propose that all 6 of you, like, that would be a good CSM representation, to have goons have 6, all 6 Karma Fleet guys in, and then a couple other people. Maybe you might want that, but let's just say that that's probably not a realistic expectation. So to that end, there's a reason why you need to be on the ballot. You deserve to be, if not the Imperium candidate, where you deserve to be on that ballot and up there too. You have something to bring to the table that the more established candidates that are probably going to get their block voted in, they're already going to bring the Imperium Karma Fleet in perspective to the table. You say that you deserve your spot too. What do you bring on top of that?
You'll need to understand that I am a nullsec pilot. That is where my heart is. I am a goon. That is where my heart is. And I am a member of Karma Fleet. My heart resides there as well. The difference between me and every other Karma Fleet pilot is I am not a nullsec candidate. I live in Null, and that's where I live. That's what I'm focused on. But my candidacy has nothing to do with the Imperium, because I'm not focused on Null politics or any of that stuff. I don't even get to sit in the room with that stuff going on. Brisk has this line where he's just a line member. I'm not even that. I'm just some guy hanging out in the back, going on fleets and doing stuff, and I don't have any kind of influence whatsoever.
They don't even
And
trust you with the line.
yeah, I don't even get to sit in that room. So I'm not a null sec candidate per se. What I am a candidate for and an advocate for is memories. I am a content creator in the fact that I like to be absurd. I like to do things that stick with people. It's the reason I support cat ear maid costumes for apostles. I would love to have those in game because there are so many people that hate it. I've been a troll for 20 years. What I do is create memories, lasting memories that will stick with you. And it's the social connections you make in this game that will grow into a lifetime of meaningful friendships with real people. That is the thing that I am advocating for. I don't care anything about Fayssal or any of the other stuff that people want to get changed. I care about the people that play this game, the human beings behind the keyboard.
But so translate that to me to like CSM representative, right? Because like, yeah, you make if you can make cool content and stuff like that, but like, why do I need that person to be at the summit and held under NDA and having inter council meetings? What are you like? You're not. I don't think CCP may have a communication issue, but I'm not sure that they should like meme out the next big changes. So like where do you come as an advantage to the CSM or to CCP?
I come as an advantage because the things that are happening in game affect the ability to create those memories. Let's talk about something that's going to get me off of everybody's ballot right out of the way.
Okay.
Cloaky camping changes,
Uh-huh.
right? The cloaky camping changes that are coming up. Is cloaky camping a problem right now before the change? My answer is no. Cloaky camping is a viable gameplay style. It is something that creates content. It's something that creates those memories that I want people to have. The losses that occur from that are important. Cloaky camping is not the problem. The lack of the ability to interact with it, that is the problem.
Right.
And I told CCP on their stream today, they handled it absolutely correctly. They gave us something to deal with it
Yep.
instead of removing the thing people complained about.
Yeah, like I like to say, the problem wasn't cloaky camping. The problem was people complaining about cloaky camping, right? Or more
I agree.
importantly, people complaining about AFK cloaky camping. So now they have a stick that's like, you think they're AFK? Prove it. You know, like, and that to me is you're right. That is a perfect solution to the problem and a perfect understanding of the problem, in my opinion.
It was so well, so absolutely focused on the one single aspect that was the problem. I was blown away when I was told what the changes were. All of the other stuff that goes with cloaky camping, you're still dropping on people. You're still going to be out there blopsing. You're not going to be affected by this. There is no way any alliance is going to have 3 human beings a day in every single system every 90 minutes deploying a 40 million ISK structure. It's just not
What?
going to happen.
Why would you? Anybody who's deploying these structures in a system that doesn't have somebody in locals kind of just wasting the anyway, whatever. So, but again, like that's a good decision by CCP, and it's really good to be able to call that out and be like, that's really good. But like, you're not bringing that to the table. What and all you would do in that case would just say like, hey, that is good.
Well, see, the thing
There's
is,
only
that is what I'm bringing to the table, though. It's the ability for them to iterate on changes in ways that are meaningful, that will expand the sandbox instead of take buckets of sand out of it.
right.
This
Okay.
is the first time. Think back. This is the first year we've seen 2 major changes in a row that were positively implemented in a way that could be fixed, like with the nullification changes. If it's not enough, fewer ships are going to be able to be able to use the module. They can tweak on what they've added. The important thing here is think back to last year. Do you remember Blackout? Do you remember the ham-fisted bullshit way they used to be handling things? I was running my camp. See, here's another thing. My campaign started during CSM's 14, before the 15 started even running. That's how long I've been doing this bit.
All right. Didn't I ask you if you've already ran for CSM before?
Right. I ran for CSM 16.
Got
and
it.
specifically 16, not 15, because I didn't have a passport. But
Ah,
when I announced my candidacy on Reddit, got to be a year and a half ago now. It was way before 15 was even elected.
got it. Okay, so well, speaking of the last year and trying to understand you as a candidate, what in the last year was there ever a moment that you were like, ah, I wish I'd actually had my stuff together and been elected in CSM 15 in order to be able to be here for this. Like, what is something that you wish you had been able to be on CSM already for that happened in the last year,
I'll be
and
honest
why?
with you, none of it. The reason for that is I trust emphatically the people that we have over there, and I they have been doing the job that they need to do. They're working as a cohesive team with people that may not be allied with us and presenting their ideas and feedback as one voice. That is critical. The two-way communication that happens between them is critical. The players need to feel represented and the issues need to be addressed. And I think the CSM already does the best job it possibly can at that. So no, I don't feel like my needing to be there um, would have been better than the CSM 15 we've already had.
And I'm not asking you to compare yourself with CSM 15. What I'm saying is that like what would you have wanted to have been there to be able to have like gotten in on and said something about ahead of time? And what about more controversial changes? Like there's a couple that were highlighted in my chat, like the gate rats or the asteroid rats being moved to gates was kind of a series of unfortunate events, but obviously like would you like to have been on the CSM at that time or during interdiction nullification changes? Is there anything at this point, like, because you keep highlighting the positive things, is there anything where you would have wanted to have
Sorry,
stepped into?
the like you want to talk about gate rats? That whole thing is an absolute shit show.
Okay, great.
From the ground up. Why are there anomalies that are empty? Why is nobody looking at this? And why is the fix for that to put the rats on the gates? What are you people thinking? Everything involved with that whole situation is just absolutely side up to me. I have no idea. So yeah, I'd love to have been involved in that so I could just, beat him about the head and say, this is not the way you fix stuff.
There we go. I think that's what I was looking for. But okay, so help me understand. Can Saw Eve in 2004, cheered on Eve for a while, started playing Eve in 2018, started running for CSM in 2020 to be on CSM in 2021. What caused you? What walk me through that? Why first? Why did you? Obviously the passport thing, but like, what made you want to be on the CSM in the first place? Enough that even if you technically didn't qualify, you still were willing to call your shot a year early.
The people that I hang out with in the corp, like if we're on SNS or something, we're hanging out with Mark. We got an nominate on comms. These are the people that I have dialogues with, and I get to hear the things that go on overseas. And I get to hear, you don't get information about specific events, but you hear about how things play out. Um, I wanted to be involved with that. I wanted to be involved in the conversations, and I wanted to help shape the game. I want to make memories more impactful. I want my gameplay, which is create lasting memories, lasting social connections. I want that to be focused on. And that particular aspect, I think, is lacking. I don't think that they're looking at their game and saying that they're going to be able to do the things I want to do, which is over the top, insane chaos kind of memories.
So
It's just the natural progression from outsider to player to where I am now. I've already attained all of the in-game wealth that I need to. I've already met all of my in-game goals. I joined this game as a long-time bitter vet that didn't even know anything. I was an entitled jerk when I installed the game. The GSF helped me fix my shit. Karma Fleet did that even more. And it's the value that I receive from the relationships that I've built that make me want to make the lives of everyone I touch better.
So when you and I were first talking and stuff like that, like you even introduced yourself at some point as like the meme candidate, and
I am the final boss of the internet. I am.
yes,
If you look at my in-game title, it says the living meme. I am absolutely, literally the meme candidate.
right. But at the same time, I, what I have what I have encountered from the final boss on the internet is a person that shows sincerity and passion, and the I think that my concern is that when people see memes, they think that it's not serious and don't realize that people that clown around in that way, there is like memetics is a term that means like cultural language and touchstones and meaning and all that kind of stuff. Like it has a much deeper meaning than what the internet often refers to. And so in that sense, we talk about communication, CCP, memetics that's what it's all about, man. Like that's what ads are. That's what all these things are. And so often we see people that dabble in absurdity, or what could be considered as absurdity. But when you poke at it, you find sincerity, and I think that's what's here. So to give you an opportunity to kind of talk to that a little bit, some people would say we're going to go with the weeb skins, as you put it on in your thing, right? Like
100% support wave skins. I will tell you right now, I would pay 1,100 plex for an apostle made costume.
right. So let's talk to the person that says like grim dark, my immersion. Eve rejected that for a long time. The fact that we have a pink skin now is like considered to be completely like abhorrent to Eve like 5 years ago. So
It's actually a second set. You got the old school pink set, and then you've got the newer ones that start with Z. I forget that one, that are mostly pink. Those are even more anime than the first set. This
Heart Search,
the
Heart
yeah
Search is the
the
super
pedal.
shiny one.
Yeah. Um, you've got two sets of those right now,
Mhm.
and I'll tell you right now, I will take those color palettes every single time over yet another brown skin for my Minmatar ship.
Right. So yeah, help help like argue that point for a little bit. Like why, like to somebody who says that they don't want some like police skins break their are just it's just not serious. Ugh, like help them
See, this
understand
is the
why these
thing.
things are necessary.
That's the crux of the thing right there. Of course they're not serious. They're absurd. They don't belong. And because they don't belong, they stick in your head. The interaction with that ship, you land on grid and somebody in a Fed Navy combat with a police skin tackles you, and then everybody else comes in and kills you. You just got ganked by the cops. You remember that. And it's not just some dude in a frigate that happened to catch you on a gate. Those details help stick it in your mind to make it a lasting memory, to make it something you'll look back on. And the absurdity of that is necessary because those tools, those that's my tools. Those tools are the things that I want to use to be able to do just ridiculous, stupid things in this game. If I can for a second, do you have a chance to go to Google and look up capital class exploration needs a revamp?
Okay.
There's going to be a thread on Reddit. This is an actual real activity that I took part in. This is stories that are posted in that thread. This is an actual thing that I do because the absurdity of it was just amazing. All of the people, if you look in the comments, they're just horrified. I love that shit. I want to horrify people because they're going to remember it.
Be kind, my with my light mode Reddit. This is not my main account that I use or browser version that I use for Reddit. But
This
yeah,
is the
so
best part. Everything in this is all true. It was really all of the stats you see in here. I did that shit. I love this thread because this is exactly the kind of content that I create.
All right. So, just in case I don't want to read this real quick, you wanna give me the 20
Sure.
second
Here's
spiel of
here's the
what we're looking at?
TLDR of this. 4 months into the game, I had a minor skill injector problem when I was flying Thanatos as my carrier of choice.
Wait. How many months?
But
How much time into the game?
4 months,
Minor
4 months,
skill injector problem.
minor skill injector problem, which
Okay, good.
actually
Just
turned
checking.
into stopped using my own supply and then made a bunch of ISK off of selling them instead of buying them. But the point is, I used the Thanatos for my carrier of choice, and I'm out doing Explo one day, and I get a BPC for a capital scanning rig. So I thought to myself, what the hell does this even go on? How do you do Explo with a capital? And I did it. I bought a Fanny and I put that rig on there, and I went out and created lost mails with this rig equipped. This is obviously, if this rig exists, this is obviously the end game for Explo that CCP expects. And everybody that came in contact with it was just horrified. And that kind of reaction is just, I loved it. I absolutely ate it up. And I loved it. I still have one of these right now. I did recently lose the pod in an unfortunate failure to reship, but I still have a Thanatos with that rig parked in 1DQ right now.
Are you now? We're trying to figure out if you're a serious person or me or just like whatever. Do you at least use a black glass?
It was definitely in the pod. In the thread, there's an Imgur link
I
that'll have the pod listed, and there was Black Glass definitely in there.
I'm a believer. I'm a believer. No, and I think that this is really, really, really important. And I don't want the levity of it to allow that to be lost, which is that in a universe in which we are so focused on ISK, so often we hear that's not profitable. That's not valuable. No one wants to do that. That's not worth doing. No one does that. We are playing a game in which we are writing a story. There are no bad ideas, or no, there are no good ideas. I like to say that Eve is a game about the practical application of bad ideas, right? It's the things
I
that make us,
agree.
yeah, it's the things that make us unpredictable, that make it's the stories that we write, it's the things that we do even though we know it's a bad idea, that make things interesting and how we learn things. And so I I think it's important that in the face of all of that, Micromancer stands and says, dude, it's a game. Don't question what I'm doing. It's no more important or less important than what you're doing, and that's
Correct.
that very, very valuable lesson to bring to the community, and honestly, to be frank, to the CSM. Um, and even candidates that have been suspected to be a meme in the past, including those that are running now, when they have been elected, I have hounded CCP, and you know what? They often are incredibly diligent, effective, passionate people, because regardless of how unserious you like to make that, how you draw attention to situations, you know, that's a lot of work and that's a lot of effort that goes into it. And, that needs to be recognized as well. And so, you don't do all this for nothing. And
Not really.
and I
I
think
actually do it for the people around me, not just me.
Yeah, and I think that, and I hope that there's a fair chunk of people that can see the situation, see it for what it is, and believe in you. And I think that you could very well rally those votes.
So you see, there was this scan down escalations. I actually used to suitcase a 2 billion ISK rattlesnake, and if I got an escalation that I'd scan down, I'd dock up the Thanatos and then run the escalation. I had in the thread, one of the events that actually happens is I'm doing a data site in my Thanatos, and the Thanatos is named I think it was Stratios. So this Feeple warps into the site, just locks me up, starts attacking me. So I launch fighters, and I'm sure that guy left a brown trail out of that system. And there's two guys, me and him, that have the best story in the game, where you land on grid with somebody running a data site. Why are there fighters here?
So God, I have so many questions, but I feel like that's not what the point of this
I
this whole thing was.
literally answer anything.
I yep,
Ask anything.
I can appreciate that completely. No, but real talk though, like what we talked about some positive changes, some negative changes. What about what has been going on with this is a time of great change to see in EVE Online, right? Huge industry changes. We know there's more huge industry changes to come. Capital changes probably coming soon. Faction warfare changes being teased. New players' experiences being worked on all the time. What would you be most excited about actually digging into if you really did get elected?
I'm going to be honest with you here. It's going to be faction warfare. And the reason for that is I've never experienced it myself. I would like to learn what is going on with warfare right now to find out why they feel it's broken and then find a way to fix it in a way that the people that want to engage with that content can so that it's rewarding for them.
You know, the reason why I like that answer is because it isn't, this is the thing I want to affect the most, this is the thing I know the most about, or anything like that. You responded with, this is the thing I know the least amount about, which,
Yep.
on the one hand, people would say, like, well, why do you feel like you should be capable of talking about that? But honestly, that shows that you are interested in digging into it, which,
Yep. Yep.
which can be just as, if not more valuable. If we could put you in a room with somebody with that experience, then what could you guys work out if they could take you
Well,
seriously?
I would have to find out what their concerns were first, and then find a way to provide feedback on that. I owned a computer
Sorry, that was
repair
a, that
store
was a
for
that was a like a that wasn't a that was a facetious or whatever question. That was a sorry, but go on. You computer
yeah.
repair store.
I had a computer repair store for a couple of years. This is back in around 2007, 2008, and I wound up closing it down when the economy went to crap. But the importance of that is during the time that I was repairing computers for a living, one of the skills that I actually developed then was something I call zero knowledge diagnostics. I don't have to know what you're talking about to be able to help you fix your problem. You're going to give me the information that is concerning you. I'm going to assess that information to learn from it and then provide you relevant feedback that will help you find a solution that will meet your needs. It's a simple thing for me because it's something that I've honed over time. So as long as I am willing to do the work, and I am, to learn about things that I don't know and admit that I don't know anything, not everything, I don't know anything comparatively to all the activities in New Eden and all the nuts and bolts go behind it, I will never claim to tell you I'm an expert on in-game stuff. I'm an expert on fun. I'm an expert on absurdity. I'm an expert on memories and life. But I'm also really good at communication, effective feedback, working as a team, and the skills that are necessary for the CSM candidates. I embody all of that. And I think that I could bring added value to the CSM whether or not I happen to know anything about how wormholes work. I spent the last week living in Pochven, and it's been great learning all about that region, learning about the lore and the people that live there. This has been an amazing experience for me, and I'm super glad to have had the chance to be able to do that. I will do that wherever in New Eden you live. I'm very approachable. Anything you want to know, ask me. I answer literally everything. I talk to literally everyone.
What do you think would be the biggest loss of you not being elected? Because like you really like a lot of candidates say like I'm different, and then they go on and list a bunch of things that all of the other candidates have listed, right? In a lot of ways, like you really are like when you tell me that you bring something new to the table, I believe you. So what do you feel would be the thing that's like would be missing if you weren't at the table?
The thing that will be missing is CCP is at risk of thinking that it's okay not to follow through with their ideas, that it's okay to do things in a way that don't matter, to do things in a way that will reduce our sandbox, to do things in a way that will push players away because of arrogance or just not being focused on providing the best game experience possible because they're not in a position to adapt or die in the gaming industry.
Right.
And what we risk at losing from me not being there and not being able to give them that feedback and to help them learn and grow themselves, we are actually literally risking the eventual loss of New Eden itself.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, CCP could absolutely fail, and that would just like, yay, we just get the server shutdown notification one day. But the good news is that from my understanding, we are a ways off from being a risk, but it is always a concern because it doesn't take too many big changes or too many blunders to make that health tank pretty quickly. And you're right, like, we have a relatively small population, and while Eve has a lot of potential, it also has a lot of chance of losing enough of the core that it no longer functions as an engine anymore, and it just goes into a death spiral, and that would be like the worst case scenario. Um, I I think that I strongly agree with what you just said, and I think that like the number of times that I've agreed with what you've said, in spite of the fact that like, you know, the difference in positions that we've come from before this, I think that speaks wonders about your ability to uh, articulate your passions and have something that transcends, as you said, not being a nullsec candidate. You're absolutely correct, because you speak to the fundamental motivations of the game itself, not like the mechanics, but like why we love this game, why this game is in the museum of art, why this game, as I like to say, is important. And to that end, I think that I'm at the very least thankful that you're an ally and a member of our community, continuing to reinforce and remind us of that, because boy howdy does this community need reinforcement of that every once in a while.
It certainly does.
Every once in a while we need to be reminded that you can in fact do exploration in a Thanatos. I yeeted a Nestor on Christmas. I thought that was pretty cool. You have
Next
10.
iteration,
Oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
actually had a conversation with another streamer. The next iteration of that's probably going to be a dread, something that can actually defend itself so that you can actually go outside of your space. I was always in delve with that Thanatos. I would love to actually just go through lowsec in a dread, scanning down sites. And if I get if I get escalation or something, maybe bookmark it or whatever. But I would love to just be sitting in a sitting at a data site with a Moros waiting for another people.
I mean, can you imagine running into that? Like, what is even happening? Can you like?
That's legal Violet. If I don't know who he is, but he's out there somewhere. I guarantee you, he will never forget the time that he was attacked by fighters from. Was that a strategy? It can't be a strategy. There's fighters. What's going on? I love that. I love that he has a permanent memory. Right now, I tell you what, there's probably 14 guys in Darwinism that remember the time they took down a Megathron gating through Iridia with skill extractors in his cargo. Sometimes I lose. Sometimes I win. I had a freighter that I took from Jita through Tama to a Thera connection, jumped through Thera to get down to the top of Iridia, gate 10 jumps to one SMEB, and then left it there and forgot about it. Then we're talking like months and months later. I undock it during SNS with Merc having no idea I'm doing this and yeet it through T5Z and docked it in one DQ.
EVE Online is the practical application of bad ideas. There also somebody said that you did a gate camp with a Dagon.
I did. I sat next to a Vendetta. He was out there for like a week. I sat next to a Vendetta in my Dagon.
Do you still have that Dagon?
I do.
Oh, okay.
But I sat out there. I've got, I think, 5 faction caps now. Collection of all of the. Oh God, it might be more. all of the dreads plus the Sinatra and the Dagon. Moloch is the last Blood Raider capital that I need, and now that that is out of reach, I'm not so much focused on it anymore.
Out of
But
reach because of build cost.
yeah, because of
Yeah.
the build cost changes, I don't think I'm ever going to have a trillion isk that I can just throw at a ship and say I don't care if that dies.
Well, I mean, you never say
So
never, I
anyway, yeah,
guess.
the Dagon. I was definitely out there on the 4 TAC gate in, I think it was 39p for a couple of days next to a Vendetta that was absolutely 2 module tank fit and killed a couple of days after I stopped going out there.
Well, I'm going to give you. I guess I'm just going to give you your 10-minute warning at this point. So, at great risk, you have the floor.
Max ticks are dumb. Don't sit in the station waiting for your ability to go do the maximum amount of return. I want you to get out there, New Eden. I want you to go out there and create memories, create those social connections, meet people, talk to people, find a way to make this game something you want to do for the rest of your life, because that is absolutely available to you here. You have the ability to touch the lives of literally thousands of other people every day, and that is magical to me. So I may not be the person you're looking at as the best candidate for the CSM. And I accept that and I respect that. Vote for somebody. If it's not me, find somebody that caters to your needs. Find somebody that you can believe in and vote for that person, even if it's not me. And that's my whole 10-minute spiel.
Awesome. Well, I do appreciate it. It was good chatting with you. I am very, you know, uh, I am happy to be able to do this kind of CSM interview stuff because I believe in the CSM, and I believe that those of you who are running are putting a lot of work in, and you deserve the opportunity to have your voice heard and give your opportunity to get your votes and everything like that, which is why I do all this. But as a secondary thing, man, the conversations that I've gotten to have and the people I've gotten to be able to, connect with has also been really, really great. And you're definitely one of them. Uh, Thank you for coming on and making this time. Thank you for showing me, like I said, it's very easy to be dismissive and whatnot. And so it's like, when somebody comes on and says that they're a meme candidate, I don't know whether or not to take them seriously. And
It's actually both in my case.
yeah,
You have the ability to not only take me seriously, but appreciate the absurdity of the situation. And I'm sincerely thankful that you took the time to talk to me today. Do I think that I deserve to be on the CSM? Absolutely. I think I'd do a great job. I think I would help the team quite a bit. And it doesn't matter who's out there. I don't care if it's Merc. I don't care if it's Knob. I don't care if it's Villy. I don't care who you are, but if you are on that team, I think that I can find a way to work with you, and so that we can speak with one voice to CCP and provide them the critical feedback that they need to help keep this game alive.
as a final thought, or maybe hopefully a final thought, but like just normally I would ask like how are you like to the the goon swarm or the non null block candidate. We talked about that a little bit already. But just like there's still a big B between us right there.
A
Um
little, yeah.
we're at war. Like that's a very polarizing thing. Dinos are in there, there's other people. Help those people feel like maybe they believe in you. Maybe they believe that you are a member of the community, but they also know that deep down inside that you're a goon. So just let's wrap this up by giving you an opportunity to help them understand or believe that you would still have their back and not just be a goon on the CSM.
Enemies are critical in this game. I need you to hate me. I need you to want to destroy my alliance. I need you to blow up everything I own. The loss is important. The conflict is, there is no New Eden without it. So I am thankful to have the opportunity to talk to people one on one. And I'm also thankful that there are people that will not be able to let go that I'm a goon, because that means I will always have somebody that I can get out there and have interactions with. I support the humans behind the keyboard. I don't care who you are. I go to Vegas, walk up to me. I'll be more than happy to hang out with you. In 2019, I spent probably 6-7 hours hanging out with a guy from Short Bus, just sitting there at the Bird Bar. I don't care where you live in New Eden. You're a human being, and I am thankful for you to share this experience with me. In game, I'm coming for that ass. I don't care.
Now,
I'm here to tell you.
I heard that laughing in the background there. And then I guess then that actually made me think about this. Help me believe that this run for the CSM and all of this, including this conversation, you're a very smart person. Help me believe that this isn't an elaborate troll and that you will take the CSM seriously once you get on it. And it's not just another opportunity for Micromancer to make a big name for himself and like get in the news because he got on the CSM and blew it all up or something.
Micromancer is not the guy that's going to be sitting in Iceland. Christopher Conan, which is my real name, is the guy that's going to be sitting in there. The other guys that are on CSM, their in-game characters aren't the people that are over there. They're doing jobs as human beings, and they are doing it as the guy on this side of the keyboard. This isn't something I take lightly. This isn't something that I am just trying to get on so that I can have won something or found a way to convince somebody to give me a Moloch, which would be cool, but I don't think this is where this is going. I'm a human being.
That'd be a very elaborate way to get a Moloch.
I'm a human being here to do a job. It's that simple. And all of our communities need to be represented by people that are down to earth, that know what they're doing, and are able to critically assess situations. I think the team that is currently on there is very good at this. I have confidence that the people that we have brought to the table as an alliance are professional and are doing the best job that they can. I don't know about any of the stories from the other side of the fence. I would imagine that they're doing it the same way, even though you've got characters out there like Pro God Legend, who a lot of people hate for the way he carries himself. That's a character. That's the guy on the other side of the keyboard.
Right.
I don't have any evidence to support this. I don't think he acts like that in Iceland. I think that it's very likely that they as a team speak with a single voice. They may do some horse trading on specifics of whatever the situation is, but at the end of the day, there is a real person doing a real job in the real world over in Iceland. And that is the difference. This isn't an in-game thing or any part of my ongoing persona for being the final boss of the internet. I'm running as the person that wants to do the work and thinks that he will do as good or better than any of the other candidates that are in there right now.
Awesome. Well, you've done some pretty incredible things. You've done some pretty good things for the community. I hope that you keep it up, and I wish you the best of luck because the CSM would be definitely better with you.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for having me. Hit me up anytime. I'd be more than happy to come and hang out.
Oh, this might be a dangerous beginning of a lot of trouble. We'll find out. Until then, 07, my friend.
/ or whatever.
All right, there's my stream tag. We're out.
So was it what you expected at all?
I mean, I didn't expect. I didn't know 100% what to expect, but like, this is not the first time that I've seen that idea of absurdity with sincerity. You know, like I've known a lot of people that are on the internet and are that way, and so once I figured you out, I was like, oh, okay, this is where it is. But I was pleasantly surprised.
I can appreciate that. One of the things people look at me and say, "You've only been playing for 3 years. You just don't know anything." Okay, well, I don't have to know anything. They don't quite get that. Like this Podman stuff. Most of this stuff is completely different to everything that I've been doing for the last 3 years. You have to learn new mechanics. You have to learn about these new rats. You have to learn about how to get around. This has been fascinating for me. I really like it out there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I want to go to Iceland and talk to them about is, why isn't this area being fixed?
Yeah, well, that's yeah.
That's
But
that's a whole nother conversation. I recognize that.
yeah, but so the thing about that though is that there's so many changes happening right now that it does take a lot of work to stay like on top of it, but it's also pretty rewarding if you do, right? Like with events and with all these different things happening, like the even the industry changes. Like I find that being in the convocation has caused me to have to, stay on top of things and doing the show, like constantly trying to figure out what the next thing has made it so that I've been able to take advantage of a lot of these changes because it's like if you know the correct thing on the correct day, then all of your stuff is worth twice as much. Like but you only know that if you're like constantly pushing it. So when everybody else is like, you're the one that's like digging in there and figuring it out. When everybody's saying Poshvin's dead, you're the one like in there figuring out the mechanics. And that is ultimately where like Eve thrives because one of the problems is that like I give CCP a lot of crap about communication and stuff, but the discovery aspect of it is important, and the fact that people do dismiss it is actually a point of it, right? It's the fact that most people dismiss it. Common belief is that nothing's there that's worthwhile, but those who would put that to the
I disagree
test.
with that so much.
Exactly. Those who put it to the test can find the truth, and that is, I think, one of the really, really beautiful things about EVE Online in a lot of different ways.
You know the thing that I appreciate the most that's out there that actually has value? All of the communities that have banded together right now that are trying to live
Ah,
their lives in that area. You've got just a ridiculous pile of alliances that have no business talking to each other, all helping each other right now. It's just so amazing to me.
you
Those
know,
communities need to be able to have a place to live and play the game their way.
I'm gonna break my own rule and like probably keep this part in the recording because this actually makes me want to double down on that with you because you said something earlier and it triggers me to mention something and then I forgot to bring it up. So
Sure.
to that end, follow up. I just had a conversation with CCP Fozzie about this. This is the Edencom issue. Like, Edencom felt that they didn't have any follow up. They felt cheated. In response to that, now
And
now 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 Kybernauts feel like they had their thing taken away. It's like the rewards weren't fair, so we take the reward from the one side instead of giving something to the other side. And the problem with this is twofold. Or Elizabeth, who's like a Mimitar role player, is a really good example of this. She comes from the olden days, like pre-Empyrean age. She knows before CCP turned it all about like ancient space ghosts manipulating the Mimitar from the before times or something like that. Like, and like this almost is like twice bitten for old school role playing community members who were part of that old world, felt that CCP kind of left them behind around 2008, 2010, got back into it because the stars are being taken away, and then got told that they weren't even a consideration in the design. What? And yet Elizabeth is still there helping out. Like, at this point, if they don't figure out how to do this follow up, they're going to take the very tools that instills like loyalty and drive, and they're going to instill bitterness, and it's just going to sit there, and it scares the shit out of me. I'll be
it
honest with
won't
you.
it won't sit long. It'll sit there for a
It
while and then
it
it will
could be too
fade
late.
away and they're all gone. All of those stories will have ended for nothing. For
If you
nothing.
if you
Follow through. Fix this area. Fix this. These communities are hurting because of your inability to follow through with an idea and find a way to make it meaningful for the people that need it. That is so critical. These guys out there, I'm going to be out here as long as I can, trying to help repair the area.
Fozzie wouldn't kill this game. Bad faction warfare wouldn't kill this game. Driving off the very people that give a shit, like the really like we talk about industrial or like in null leaders or whatever, but these guys that have like dug through everything. Like people call me the lore guys. Lore is just knowing the universe. These guys live in it. These are the people that would be the
Literally,
cornerstones
in the
of
text,
this
live
game.
in it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like you lose those guys. I don't know what kind of damage that would do.
It would be devastating. It would be just in a huge universal black hole event where all of New Eden was sucked into itself and disappeared.
And often when I ask them, I say, like, to many of them, if you ask them, they say it is potentially irrevocable. And I don't necessarily believe that, but that just shows like they're beyond being the person that creates the solution, right? They're done with being the better man in the situation. It is time, like CCP needs to get this figured out, like really bad, in my opinion. And they could, and they've been doing a lot more. The Chalkade event is a really good example of good payoff, but like the problem is that the agile system means that like one feature ends and then they're on to the next thing. There is no inherent follow through. And that is actually one of the reasons why I think that it would be incredibly important for a CSM to be that sinew. This is something I've been thinking about for a while. And so like I said, I'm breaking the rules, and like this is going to go more than an hour, and I already said I was going to end it, but that's because this point I think is so critical.
Critical for the longevity of New Eden itself. Absolutely critical.
Well, we are in foundations, so hopefully that is a sea change. And if we get somebody like you on the CSM, maybe we can push that momentum over the edge.
Sounds good. I'm thankful for the opportunity to try.
All right. 07. I'm gonna make another tag.